Australian Indigenous art not only tells cultural stories about important time in Australia, but also records values in culture of Aboriginal people. Aborigines were the first inhabitants of Australia. They settled on the continent between 16,000 and 80,000 years ago, and 20,000-year-old caves art has been discovered on ancient rock walls. Aboriginal art varies from region to region, but many pieces suggest a strong connection with the land and an appreciation for native animals. Acrylic art is a new development for Australian Aboriginal people, whose traditional paintings were only previously done on rock walls, bodies, artifacts, and in the sand. Contemporary Aboriginal art is considered to start at the desert community of Papunya in the early 1970s, when senior desert men began to paint cultural stories using modern materials. These were prompted by school teacher Jeffrey Bardent requesting that school children paint their own stories, leading the senior men to open up the deeply held cultural knowledge to outside observers. The artists began to make more permanent artworks on boards and canvas, using an existing system of symbols to illustrate the country and dreaming. The Papunya Tula Desert Art Movement then influenced other communities to join arts movement through the following decades. The popularity of arts quickly grew, and with the potential of extra incomes for the artists, the number have flourished. Traditional ceremonies and cultural practice are a continual source of inspiration for the creation of magnificent artworks, full of spiritual and cultural significance. Aboriginal art is based on storytelling, using symbol as an alternative method of writing down stories of cultural importance, as well as transmitting knowledge on matters of survival and land management. The tradition of drawing in the sand as a teaching method reflects the powerful use of symbols as a recognized conveyor of meaning. The symbols are shown as tracks left in the ground by animals or tracks by ancestors. When you understand the symbols, it gives a new meaning to each painting. Australian Aboriginal art is a unique view into the culture and values of Aboriginal people. First, contemporary Aboriginal art reflects an important time in Australia, recording values, marking changes, and reinforcing cultures and identity in Aboriginal groups. Second, Aboriginal art is based on stories and knowledge that is being passed down through the generations. It is a way to communicate meanings and ideas about important culture and spiritual beliefs with the succeeding generations. Third, Aboriginal art helps connect people with each other. Some Aboriginal artworks are produced collaboratively, with a group of artists sharing in telling one story on one painting, and this reinforces social and cultural the contribution of contemporary Aboriginal art in Australia has been of rapidly growing significance since the first desert works emerged from Papunya in 1971. In the 1980s, some artists in indigenous communities has achieved artistic careers. The artworks were represented rapidly in exhibitions and had reached diverse audiences and collections in the wider world. In the 1980s and 1990s, the State Gallery intensified their attention in indigenous art and took affirmative steps to increase its presence and profile in their institutional development. For example, the Art Gallery of New South Wales moved dramatically to upscale its long-standing commitment to Indigenous art with the opening of Yuribana Gallery in 1994. Special display galleries were established in the main institutions, backed by a more active acquisition program, dedicated staff curatorship, and attention to thematic temporary exhibition of a new work evolving in diverse Indigenous communities and situations.